How's it going, baseball fans? It has been a long offseason, but the new MLB season is just about here. Now, I know what many of you may be thinking. I've seen where a few of the big names have signed, but I don't know how my team looks now, or really how the league looks as a whole. Well, hold on, you're in luck. I spent the entire offseason tracking every signing and transaction and will provide a clear and concise full breakdown of every team to get you ready for the season quickly. I will have 6 videos, one division per video, where I go over each of the 5 teams and their off seasons in alphabetical order. Specifically, I will be covering all players departing from the major league team, all free agency signings, all trades, all extensions and re-signings, all arbitration deals, if the team drafted a Rule 5 player or not, as well as briefly covering all waiver pickups and minor league players signed. If you have any questions about any part of the video or what certain transactions may mean to a team, comment below and I'll be sure to help out. Also, I hope I pronounced everyone's names correctly. Feel free to let me know if I get a name or two wrong. Anyways, this video will cover the offseason of all teams in the AL West, starting with the Houston Astros. The Astros have 8 players from their MLB roster not returning this year. The most impactful of those being first baseman Yuli Gurriel, catcher Christian Vasquez, utility man Aledmys Diaz, hitter Trey Mancini, relief pitcher Will Smith, and starting pitcher Justin Verlander. The Astros signed just one free agent, but that free agent ended up being a good one in first baseman Jose Abreu, who signed a 3-year, $58.5 million deal, which includes $450,000 in performance incentives per year. Also with trades, the Astros only made one this offseason. On January 3rd, they traded away some cash considerations to the Detroit Tigers in return for hitter Bly Madris. Houston did not exercise any club options this offseason, but did sign starting pitcher Christian Javier to a 5-year, $64 million extension. They also re-signed relief pitcher Rafael Montero to a 3-year, $34.5 million deal and left fielder Michael Brantley to a 1-year, $12 million deal with $4 million in performance incentives. The Astros had 7 players eligible for arbitration and were able to agree to deals with all but one player to almost avoid the need of an arbiter. They agreed to deals with starting pitchers Framber Valdez and Jose Urquidy, relief pitchers Ryan Stanek, Bill Maton, and Blake Taylor, as well as utility man Mauricio Dubon. The one player they were not able to make a deal with was outfielder Kyle Tucker. At the arbitration hearing, the arbiter sided with the Astros, resulting in Tucker making the team proposed amount of $5 million. And to wrap up, the Houston Astros did not draft a Rule 5 player, claimed 2 players off waivers, and signed a group of minor league free agents that you can see here. Next up, the LA Angels. The Angels have 5 players from their MLB roster not returning this year, the most impactful of those being infielder Matt Duffy and starting pitcher Michael Lorenzen. The Angels also signed 6 free agents, those 6 free agents being starting pitcher Tyler Alexander, who signed a 3-year, $39 million deal, relief pitcher Carlos Estevez to a 2-year, $13.5 million deal, third baseman Brandon Drury to a 2-year, $17 million deal, relief pitcher Matt Moore to a 1-year, $7.55 million deal, outfielder Brett Phillips to a 1-year, $1.2 million deal, and lastly Justin Garza to a 1-year deal with unspecified financials likely around league minimum of $720,000. When it came to trades, LA made 2 this offseason. On November 18th, they traded away starting pitcher Alejandro Hidalgo to the Minnesota Twins in return for infielder Gio Urshela. And on November 22nd, they traded away starting pitchers Adam Seminaris and Jansen Junk, as well as relief pitcher Elvis Peguero, to the Milwaukee Brewers in return for outfielder Hunter Renfroe. LA did not agree to any extensions this offseason, exercise any club options, or re-sign any players. The Angels had 8 players eligible for arbitration, but were only able to agree to deals with 5 players. They agreed to deals with pitchers Griffin Canning and Patrick Sandoval, relief pitcher Jaime Barria, outfielder Taylor Ward, and first baseman Jared Walsh. The three players that were not able to agree on a deal were utility men Luis Rengifo and Gio Urshela, as well as outfielder Hunter Renfroe. At the arbitration hearings with Renfroe, the arbiter sided with the Angels, resulting in Renfroe making the team proposed amount of $11.25 million. But for the arbitration hearings with Rengifo and Urshela, the arbiter sided with the players, resulting in those players to make their own proposed salaries of $2.3 million and $10 million respectively. And to wrap up, the LA Angels did not draft a Rule 5 player or claim a player off waivers, but did sign a group of minor league free agents that you can see here. Batting third, it's the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics have 9 players from their MLB roster not returning this year. The most impactful of those being catcher Sean Murphy, utility man Chad Pinder, starting pitcher Cole Irvin, and relief pitcher AJ Puck. The Athletics signed 6 free agents, those 6 free agents being shortstop Aledmys Diaz, who signed a 2-year, $14.5 million deal with $500,000 in performance incentives per year, third baseman Jace Peterson to a 2-year, $9.5 million deal with $500,000 in performance incentives per year, and a $150,000 bonus if traded, relief pitcher Trevor May to a 1-year, $7 million deal with $500,000 in performance incentives, starting pitcher Shitaro Fujinami to a 1-year, $3.25 million deal, which includes a $650,000 posting fee to Fujinami's former club and $1 million in performance incentives, pitcher Drew Rucinski to a 1-year, $3 million deal that includes a $5 million club option for 2024, and first baseman Jesus Aguilar to a 1-year, $3 million deal. As for trades, Oakland made 5 this offseason. On December 6th, they traded away starting pitcher Jeff Criswell to the Colorado Rockies in exchange for relief pitcher Chad Smith. Then on December 12th, they were involved in a 3-team trade, where they traded away relief pitcher Joe Payamps to the Milwaukee Brewers and catcher Sean Murphy to the Atlanta Braves in return for catcher Manny Pena, outfielder Esteury Ruiz, and starting pitchers Kyle Muller, Freddie Tarnock, and Roy Bersalinas. Their next trade was on December 15th, where they traded away infielder Yanni Hernandez to the LA Dodgers in return for cash considerations. Then, on January 26th, they traded away starting pitchers Cole Irvin and Kyle Verbitsky to the Baltimore Orioles in return for infielder Darrell Hernaiz. And lastly, on February 11th, they traded away relief pitcher AJ Puck to the Miami Marlins in exchange for outfielder JJ Bleday. Oakland did not agree to any extensions this offseason, exercise any club options, or re-sign any players. The Athletics had 3 players eligible for arbitration and were able to agree to deals with all 3 players while avoiding the need of an arbiter. They agreed to deals with hitter Tony Kemp, outfielder Ramon Laureano, and starting pitcher Paul Blackburn. In the Rule 5 draft, they selected 27-year-old hitter Ryan Noda from the LA Dodgers organization. And to wrap up, the Oakland Athletics claimed 1 player off waivers and signed a group of minor league free agents that you can see here. Hitting cleanup are the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners have 11 players from their MLB roster not returning this year, the most impactful of those being outfielders Mitch Haniger, Kyle Lewis, and Jesse Winker, second baseman Adam Frazier, infielder Abraham Toro, and relief pitcher Eric Swanson. The Mariners signed 3 free agents. Those 3 free agents ended up being outfielder AJ Pollock, signing a 1-year, $7 million contract with $3 million in performance incentives, relief pitcher Trevor Gott to a 1-year, $1.2 million deal, and infielder Tommy La Stella to a 1-year, $720,000 deal. When it comes to trades, Seattle made 5 this offseason. On November 9th, they traded away cash considerations to the Boston Red Sox in return for pitcher Easton McGee. On November 16th, they sent out relief pitcher Eric Swanson and starting pitcher Adam Macko to the Toronto Blue Jays in return for outfielder Teoscar Hernandez. Then on November 17th, they traded away outfielder Kyle Lewis to the Arizona Diamondbacks in return for hitter Cooper Hummel. Following that, they traded away outfielder Jesse Winker and infielder Abraham Toro to the Milwaukee Brewers in exchange for second baseman Colton Wong. And lastly, on January 7th, they traded away starting pitcher Joseph Hernandez again to the Milwaukee Brewers and got back relief pitcher Justin Tupa. Seattle did not exercise any club options this offseason or re-sign any players, but did extend one player. They extended Dylan Moore to a 3-year, $8,875,000 deal with a condition to increase Moore's 2025 salary by $250,000 if he has over 400 plate appearances in 2024. The Mariners had 5 players eligible for arbitration and were able to agree to deals with 3 of those 5. They agreed to deals with first baseman Ty France, catcher Tom Murphy, and relief pitcher Paul Sewald. The 2 players that were not able to agree on a deal were relief pitcher Diego Castillo and outfielder Teoscar Hernandez. For the arbitration hearings with Castillo and Hernandez, the arbiter sided with the Mariners, resulting in those players to make the team proposed salaries of $2.95 million and $14 million respectively. In the Rule 5 draft, they selected 25-year-old relief pitcher Chris Clark from the Chicago Cubs' organization. And to wrap up, the Seattle Mariners claimed 4 players off waivers and signed a group of minor league free agents that you can see here. Last up are the Texas Rangers. The Rangers have 10 players from their MLB roster not returning this year, the most impactful of those being relief pitcher Matt Moore and outfielder Cole Calhoun. The Rangers also signed 5 free agents. Those 5 free agents being superstar starting pitcher Jacob deGrom, who signed a 5-year, $185 million deal that includes a full no-trade clause, $700,000 in performance incentives, and a 2028 club option of varying value depending on how often deGrom finishes top 5 in the Cy Young voting. Starting pitcher Nathan Eovaldi to a 2-year, $34 million deal, which includes $3 million in performance incentives each year and language regarding a 2025 option. Starting pitcher Andrew Heaney to a 2-year, $25 million deal, which has a 2024 player option of $13 million with a $500,000 buyout. Outfielder Robbie Grossman to a 1-year, $2 million deal with $3 million in performance incentives. And lastly, relief pitcher Will Smith to a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with $2.5 million in performance incentives. As for trades, Texas made 3 this offseason. On November 9th, they traded away pitcher Colby Allard to the Atlanta Braves in exchange for starting pitcher Jake Odorizzi and cash considerations. Then on November 10th, they traded away hitter Nick Solak to the Cincinnati Reds for cash considerations. And lastly, on November 15th, they traded away relief pitcher Dennis Santana to the Atlanta Braves for, yet again, cash considerations. Texas's starting pitcher, Jake Odorizzi, took his player option of $12.5 million, which includes $3,325,000 in performance incentives. The team also exercised relief pitcher Jose Leclerc's club option of $6 million, which includes a 2024 club option of $6.25 million with a $750,000 buyout option. The Rangers also re-signed starting pitcher Martin Perez to a qualifying offer deal of 1 year for $19.65 million. The Rangers had 4 players eligible for arbitration and were able to agree to deals with all 4 players while avoiding the need of an arbiter. They agreed to deals with first baseman Nathaniel Lau, and relief pitchers Taylor Hearn, Brett Martin, and Jonathan Hernandez. And to wrap up, the Texas Rangers did not draft a Rule 5 player, claimed one player off waivers, and signed a group of minor league free agents that you can see here. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching, and I hope you find the information useful. If you're looking to find out more about the other 5 divisions and their off seasons as well, check the description down below for links to the other videos. Also, if you want to see more baseball content, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you around this season.